whatever you're doing or plan to do, make it simple, sensible, constructive, positive, and helpful. Things will go well.
The Golding Group Strategic Growth Podcast, formerly known as the Neo Marketing Podcast, offers real-world advice, expert analysis, and smart success strategies for entrepreneurs, investors, decision makers, and business leaders.
Cool. Good morning, Kyle.
Hey, Pritch, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
Fantastic. Springtime.
Yeah.
Everything's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, except the pollen and, severe storms.
Wind.
But, wind. Yeah. Boy, I'm so tired of wind. One of Brenda's coworkers who moved here from California complains about the wind all the time. But, hey, 20 miles an hour is a light breeze in Oklahoma.
That's right, and we don't have smog.
That's right. That's right. Well, today I'm inspired by another Jim Lukaszewski article.
Fantastic.
And
Big fan.
Would like to talk about goodness, decency, and civility. Goodness,
decency, and civility. Yep. These are some of the themes we've touched on in the past that have been very popular episodes, so I'm glad that we're revisiting this.
Good. Well, Jim is always a wealth of knowledge and inspiration, and he's got a new article out. He's run a series of articles on being a trusted strategic advisor, TSA.
Which is what we are.
Yes, absolutely. And so, while this is going to sound an awful lot like it's meant for communicators, and that was his intent, I'm sure, but leaders can also benefit, I think, from this.
That makes perfect sense, yes.
Yeah, and with so many things going on in this world today that are so distressing and disappointing, that decency and civility need to be top of mind, I think, for everybody.
And I think an opportunity for leaders in particular to do something different, to set themselves and then their team and then their business apart by really leaning into these concepts. It's not something that's a direct dollar-to-dollar kind of bottom line you're going to see, but definitely as far as thought leadership and reputation and all those things that people associate with brands that they particularly like come from that. So I think there's nothing but win out of focusing on these items.
Well, I think it's important, too, for leaders to model the behavior that they want to see from
100%.
Customers, from vendors, from employees.
All right, it's the golden rule.
Absolutely.
You can't expect it from others if you're not willing to do it yourself.
So Jim's got this trusted strategic advisor, saying that fast 4 times.
Right.
He's a manifesto, which is, of course, an action document.
There you go.
And so he's written a series of articles. This particular one, and the articles are 10 areas of personal and professional consideration and reflection. This particular one, in the heart of it, first, change your mindset and your entire philosophy of work. So that's the point that I want to talk about.
That's a big task.
It is a big task.
There's a lot of explaining to do there. That's a big idea.
Well, I think it's, step 5, there are a number of steps that he outlines in this. Like I said, 10 steps, 10 areas. But the one I picked was to act decently, insist and model an environment of civility and accommodation.
Okay.
So that was the thing that really spoke to me. There's a lot of good stuff in that article, and we'll put the link in the comments, but that particularly spoke to me. And the first point of that is to follow what he has written out as a decency credo.
Okay.
I love that title.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a great turn of
phrase,
right? So let me just read this to you here real quick. And again, you'll find our listeners and viewers will have the information in the notes. But whatever you're doing or plan to do, make it simple, sensible, constructive, positive, and helpful. Things will go well. Going in a different direction generally gets you in trouble.
I agree.
Absolutely, 100%.
There's not a single piece of that I would disagree with.
Nope.
I'm 100% on board with that.
Whatever you're doing or planning to do, make it simple, sensible, constructive, positive, and helpful.
Yeah, you can't lose with that.
I don't think you can at all. Not at all.
I'll play a slight bit of devil's advocate there. Some people might say you would lose. It makes things a little bit more expensive, but I think that's not a loss because the process results better.
Absolutely.
So I think top line, it might be a little bit, but bottom line, no, you're going to make more money or be more successful, retain people better, whether it's employees or customers, which of course the retained customer is better than a new customer.
Absolutely.
So there's everything about that. It may be a little bit more work or effort.
Right.
Or focus in certain areas, but I think the payoff is well worth every bit of that.
I can hear some of our detractors saying, "Oh, this is touchy-feely stuff."
It's not really, though.
No, it's not.
It's people.
It's going to pay for itself in the long run.
Businesses are collections of people doing things together, and then selling a product or service to people.
Right.
And people more and more every single day are not just the value they get dollars and cents out of doing business with someone, but the values that come with it, whether it is civility or decency, whether it is saving the planet or some slant like that connects with them personally deep down. It's more than just widgets and sales exchanges. It's a whole lot deeper for brands.
And you're exactly right in terms of the point. I think that this may not yield immediate monetary reward, but it's a long play.
Very long play.
And it's the kind of company it's the kind of an organization that people like to be associated with.
Yes.
And the other key is that civility, and this is Jim's point, civility is the foundation of integrity.
Yes.
If you think about it.
Right.
Right? Absolutely. I mean, if you are acting with civility, then you are indeed acting with integrity.
And you can be civility doesn't mean lay down and take what someone gives you.
You're not a doormat.
You're not a doormat.
Right.
You can be civil and be disagreeable. You can be civil and debate. You can be civil and be on opposite ends of a conversation or a concept, but meeting in the middle, being civil in the process. How you approach the attempt to solve the problem.
Right.
If it's you say red, I say blue, we got to meet somewhere in the middle. That process of meeting in the middle could be contentious or it could be civil.
Yeah.
And more likely to actually achieve the goal, right?
Right.
With honey instead of vinegar.
Right, absolutely.
By being civil.
Absolutely. I'm reading a series about a mariner in the British Navy in the time in the Napoleonic Wars, right? And I forgot where I was going with that point.
I'm sure it has something to do with civility.
Yeah, it does have to do with civility. Anyway, I don't know why that came to mind. But yeah, to lead turn, one of the things, he calls them powerful decencies and civilities. Mm-hmm. And to your point, the last one is, what will it take to get you to agree, commit, help, or join? That's a decency approach to a debate. That's a decency approach to a difficult discussion. That's a decency approach that I think we all need to embrace.
And that is the 100% 180 opposite of aggressive, argumentative flame wars.
Right.
Right. Trolling and name calling and just all out aggression.
Yep.
That isn't actually trying to solve any problem.
Nope.
Just sort of trying to force your way into the conversation and prove some point that you can't really prove because you're not really actually trying to achieve that.
That's exactly right. And it's
and no one appreciates that. Even when you catch yourself going down that path, you understand that no one likes it.
Nobody likes it.
So why would you do that?
And
why not instead do the opposite, right?
Exactly. And this is where, and I'm going to get a little political here for a minute. I think this is where our society has collapsed upon itself in this polarization because people aren't willing to have those civil conversations. No. They're not willing to accept or at least listen to another point of view.
Correct.
And great damage being done societally, I think,
people
right
are not
now.
Listening to learn or engage. They're listening to object.
And the immediate reaction today seems to be cancel culture.
Right.
Right? I'm going to shout you down because I don't like what you're saying.
That's right.
So I think first and foremost, that is a powerful decency that we need to keep in front of mind. Here's a couple others. How can I help you? When was the last time somebody in an organization said, how can I help you? Other than when you walk through the door.
Right. And have you ever thought to yourself, this person trying to help me, I don't like that.
Right?
No one has ever said, please don't help me.
Please don't help me. Well, maybe in a car dealership because you don't want to be bugged, but right?
Eventually at some point, you need the interaction with the folks at the car dealership if you went to buy a car.
Right. But
help me make the purchase.
Talk about a powerful decency. Yeah. How can I help you?
Right. That's it's actually the point of business, right? Of providing service or items of value.
Right.
So that both the seller and the buyer finds a transaction to be positive, win-win scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Providing value, providing service, and again, we talk about it so many times, repeat customers are so important, retaining business is so important. That happens through service. We call it customer service.
Right.
Before, during, and after the transaction.
Yep.
And so how can I help you is customer service that either leads to or results from a transaction, and the whole point of being in business is to create that transaction.
But I would go even further, Kyle. I would say that's something that one says in pursuit of sales, but that's something that one says regardless of the sale. It's how to be a human being to other human beings.
Yes. Truly mean help.
Yes.
Not truly mean, can I steer you in a direction?
Right.
Yes. And that goes back.
Can I get you this product?
Right.
Or sell you on this product?
That goes back to something I also say of a lot. You've heard this many times on this podcast, and I say it a lot on my personal podcast. No one likes to be sold anything.
Right.
As in the verb of sell, like actively trying to give you the thing so I get your money.
Right.
No one appreciates that, even if they're there to buy it. The car, right? I go to the car dealership because I'm trying to buy a car.
I want to buy a car.
But I don't want to be strong-armed into this one over here that you want to sell.
Right.
I want to be made available the options that I've looked at. I've done my research. I'm there to make the purchase I want to make the way I want to make it. And as the business, our job is to figure out how they want to buy something or be sold, but not actively strong-armed into something.
How can we meet their needs?
Right. How can I help you?
How can I help you?
Right.
Absolutely.
How can I help you make the transaction you want to make, not the transaction I want you to make?
Right.
Because that's helpful as opposed to essentially strong-arming or being forceful or coercive or anything else.
Yeah, self-centered, I think, is a good suggestion. And the other thing that we don't hear enough is how nice of you.
Oh, I like that.
We say thank you, and sometimes we mean it, right? How nice of you. You mean it all the time.
It's hard to misconstrue.
It's hard to misconstrue
You can misconstrue a thank you because it could be, well, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Or thanks for nothing.
I find myself sometimes too, I like to tell people, I sign off every episode, like, good luck, right? I do mean it. I hope things go well for you.
Right.
You could be sarcastic with good luck too, right?
Oh,
yeah, good luck with that. Of course, it's all in your tone. But it's so how nice of you.
Right.
I guess you would have to quadruple the sarcasm in your tone
I don't think
to
you
make
can get there.
how nice of you sound bad.
I don't think you can get there.
Now, you could go a little step further if you're from the South and you say, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Now, that is sarcastic, and that's actually meant to be a double-edged sword. But we're not talking about that
double
today.
entendre.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. Well, there's two here that kind of group together. One is yes, and the other is I can do that.
Okay.
I've been blamed for years about having a spring in my right arm and volunteering for everything that comes along, right? But it is true, especially in counseling my young professionals that when I was full-time teaching, when you say yes, it's powerful, and you're going to get lots more opportunities, right? One young lady who graduated many years ago was asked by her big PR agency in New York to build an app. And she had no training for that. But she said yes. And she learned how to do it. I mean, my gosh, you can find everything on YouTube anymore.
Right.
And she did. And as a result of that, she's gotten more and more and more responsibility and opportunity. So I think those are two very powerful words/phrases. Yes, and I can do that.
To a point.
Well, I think
you got to be careful. Again, plays a little devil's advocate here. You have to be careful of skirting that line of fake it till you make it. You can figure out a way to do about anything if you could bring in help or get it. It's different from you have 6 weeks to do this. Can you do it? Well, yes, but I need this done in the next 30 seconds. Well, you better be equipped to do it in the next 30 seconds. So it's a little bit situational, but I would caution people to fake it till you make it. Too many people do that where, can you create a rocket that lands the same way that the SpaceX rockets land? Sure, I can do that. No, you can't. Only one guy in the world has ever figured that out.
Well, I suppose
with a team of thousands working on it.
Enough resources, you could probably
with enough
do
resources,
it.
yes, for
Exactly.
sure. Or if I could talk to Elon, we could figure that out.
Well, I think it's okay to say yes, and if you find that in the process you can't do it, then you can come back and go, look, I tried, I did all of this. What other suggestions?
I think yes is a starting place. A lot more communication and a lot more of the process has to happen, and then it's potential you could change direction later. But that goes back to your boss, your team, et cetera, and working through a process in the system, which is probably available to you.
Absolutely. And kind of back to one of the other things we said, I'm sorry. Sometimes we say it, many times we say it without any real meaning behind it. But
it's often a diffuser.
It is.
When someone is unhappy about something, like, I'm sorry. Is a quick, don't de-escalate a little bit and then let me try to fix the problem.
But I think it's okay to say, I'm sorry.
Sure. If you mean it.
If you mean it, absolutely.
I think the best combination is I'm sorry, but how can I help you?
How can I help you?
Or what can I do? Yes, or I can do that. To follow that up.
Please ask me.
Then
I'm
there's
ready to
actions
help.
that come along with it make the I'm sorry legitimate.
Right. No, I agree 100%. Please forgive me is maybe even a better term than sorry. Please forgive me. I think it's got more of an emotional background to it. Thank you. We don't say thank you enough.
And no one gets mad at you for saying thank you.
Nobody gets mad at you for saying thank you, unless you're sarcastic as heck.
And then if you deserve to not be taken serious if you're going down that path.
That's exactly right. I agree. And one more in this same genre, you're welcome.
Gotta love that.
Gotta love that, right? So I think, and then he's got some ingredients of goodness. Again, we'll put the link in the notes. But I think that today is a good day to think about powerful decencies and civilities.
I like that. I like that term. The phrase is really good.
This is, and these are the kinds of things that events or evidence that powerful decency and civility. So. That's what I got today, bud.
I like it. I think you can't go wrong. You can't lose. No one has ever said, they're too nice, I'm not doing business with them.
Right. I don't like doing business with them because they're too nice.
And often sometimes when it's an A and B, right? Am I going to choose A or B?
Right.
They're small little things, subliminal things in the back of your head that move you from one direction to the other. So when we say this is not a $1 in, $1 out, it's something that's going to have some people jumping up and down with, I do business with them because of decency and civility. But it is in the back of your head. And if it's, 51-49 trying to get the decision made, they might lean your favor because in their mind, your brand association and how they perceive you is positive because of decency and civility in every process. How you treat your customers, how you treat your employees, your vendors, how you work within the community themselves, all of those things.
Absolutely. And I'll give a shout out to my bride. She works in retail and has exhibited many of these character modeled this behavior. Many times she's had a number of people come in just red hot, raring to go, want to fight, right? And she's been able to diffuse it with these decencies and this civility, and it's actually resulted in some long-term clients. So there's anecdotal evidence that this stuff works as well.
I completely agree. This is a great approach.
Cool. So there you go. That's what we've got today. Hope you enjoyed it. Give us some feedback. Mash that subscribe button. You know the drill. And until next time, ciao.
Leave a review. Leave a comment. Tell a friend. Good luck. And I mean it. Good luck.
Exactly.
Thanks for listening to the Golding Group Strategic Growth Podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Tell a friend, leave a review, and engage with us on social media. To contact us, please visit thegoldinggroup.com.